The success story of Larry Page, co-founder and co-owner of Google. Larry Page, born March 26, 1973, is an American billionaire businessman, co-founder of the IT giant Google, and chief executive officer of Alphabet Incorporated, the parent company of Google. The fortune of the entrepreneur as of March 2019 is estimated by Forbes at $53.3 billion. 45-year-old Page is ranked 6th in the global Forbes 400 to 2018 list, recognized as the 10th most influential person on the planet, and ranked 10th in the Forbes 2019 Billionaires ranking. In 2018, he became the 6th tech billionaire according to the leading news portal Business Insider. The biography of Larry Page is interesting in that it lifts the veil on the evolution of one idea from the moment it was born to its implementation in a successful business. What qualities helped a search pioneer develop Google and become a member of the Billionaire Club? Larry Page's success story will serve as an excellent illustration that crazy ideas are worth implementing, because now millions of people use the results of his work every day. Lawrence Edward Page, who became famous under the abbreviated name Larry, was born on March 26, 1973 in the USA in the capital of Michigan, Lansing. Like Sergey Brin, the second co-founder of Google, Larry has Jewish roots. Larry's maternal grandfather immigrated to Israel. But Larry's upbringing, unlike Sergey's childhood years, did not proceed in a religious setting. Both of Page's parents were professors at the university. Dad Carl Victor Page worked as a professor of computer science at the University of Michigan. Mother Gloria, née Gloria Weinstein, taught programming at the same university. According to the memoirs of a colleague, the father of the future genius was very fond of arguing, and passed on to his offspring the habit of defending his opinion on any occasion. Page Sr. was also a fan of fun, and more than once took Larry with him to the performances of the Grateful Dead, a rock band that was distinguished by the ideas of an informal subculture. Lawrence was the second son of the Page couple. Carl, Larry's older brother, who was born in 1964, was also growing up in the family. Carl Page Jr. will also become a successful businessman and take his rightful place among the Silicon Valley elite. In 2000, the internet entrepreneur will sell Yahoo for $432 million. Own company eGroups.com. Larry Page also has a younger sister, Beverly Page, but there is no information about her in the media. Beverly prefers not to use her brother's fame and keeps a low profile. When Page Jr. was 8 years old, his parents separated. The former spouses still raised 3 children together. According to Larry, he did not feel the lack of either paternal or maternal attention. The Page family was fond of computers, so the first PC appeared in their house in 1978 when Larry was 5 years old. From 1979 to 1975, Larry attended the Okemos Montessori School, where teaching was conducted according to the Montessori method. It's funny that his future colleague Brin also went to an elementary school that works according to this method. Larry recalls that at first he was the only student doing homework electronically. At the age of 12, the future billionaire fell into the hands of the biography of Nikola Tesla. The schoolboy was amazed that the fate of the brilliant scientist was unfavorable. The life of the inventor was overshadowed by enmity. He died in poverty. And in the school curriculum, the focus is on Thomas Edison, and Tesla's name is mentioned in passing. The end of the life story of the inventor made Larry cry and showed that it is not enough to create a revolutionary technology. You should be able to introduce it to the masses. Young Larry is on fire with the idea of growing into an outstanding personality and being remembered for great accomplishments that will be widely used. Larry graduated from East Lansing High School in 1991. During his studies at the East Lansing School, Larry is fond of the saxophone. He studied saxophone for 2 years as part of a summer program at the Interlochen Arts Center. The list of notable alumni on the Arts Center website also mentions Larry Page. Also, the developer of the Google Internet Portal can play percussion instruments. The Page family was fond of computers, so the first PC appeared in their house in 1978 when Larry was 5 years old. From 1979 to 1975, Larry attended the Okemos Montessori School, where teaching was conducted according to the Montessori method. It's funny that his future colleague Bryn also went to an elementary school that works according to this method. Larry recalls that at first, he was the only student doing homework electronically. At the age of 12, the future billionaire fell into the hands of the biography of Nikola Tesla. The schoolboy was amazed that the fate of the brilliant scientist was unfavorable. The life of the inventor was overshadowed by enmity. He died in poverty. And in the school curriculum, the focus is on Thomas Edison, and Tesla's name is mentioned in passing. The end of the life story of the inventor made Larry cry and showed that it is not enough to create a revolutionary technology. You should be able to introduce it to the masses. Young Larry is on fire with the idea of growing into an outstanding personality and being remembered for great accomplishments that will be widely used. Larry graduated from East Lansing High School in 1991. During his studies at the East Lansing School, Larry is fond of the saxophone. He studied saxophone for 2 years as part of a summer program at the Interlochen Arts Center. The list of notable alumni on the Arts Center website also mentions Larry Page. Also, the developer of the Google Internet Portal can play percussion instruments. After graduating from the University of Michigan, in 1995 Larry went to the Forge of IT Geniuses in the USA, where Nobel Prize winners and members of the Academy of Sciences teach, and which the students themselves call the Dream College, to Stanford. Larry admits that at first he felt out of his element within the walls of this prestigious educational institution. Here Page receives a master's degree in science. Then he enters graduate school at Stanford, but does not complete it due to the development of his own startup. Quite a few graduates of the university, like Page, became successful entrepreneurs. Let's remember other effective Stanford graduates such as Nike founder Phil Knight, creator of Yahoo Jerry Yang. Larry chooses a PhD topic related to the internet and search engines. At Stanford, Larry Page meets a future business partner. As soon as they don't call the meeting of the creators of the search engine, both epoch-making and fateful and significant. The epithets are rightfully appropriated. The business tandem of Larry Page and Sergey Brin is considered one of the most successful in business. The meeting place cannot be changed. The creators of the popular search engine met at Stanford in 1995. Their friendship did not begin immediately. At first, the guys considered each other an upstart, but later they became like-minded people based on common scientific ideas. Collaboration was not cloudless, but effective. Leadership conflicts are a common workflow, and Page and Brin were able to successfully collaborate and work for results. Money is an indicator of the success of a partnership, and the presence of the Google co-founders in the top 20 billionaires of the planet speaks for itself. Their intellectual duet has exceeded the wildest expectations. Page is the inventor of the PageRank search engine algorithm, named with references to Page's last name and the word page. He, a 23-year-old graduate student, comes up with a revolutionary approach to information retrieval. The idea of indexing search links in order to return query results by the significance of the resource, its authority. This was a real breakthrough in the world of information search on the internet. PageRank, which was based on link ranking, was replaced in 1996 by Backrub, a project of Brin and Page, which is a prototype search engine, later renamed Google. The students and teaching staff of the university became the first testers of the prototype of the search engine. because the startup functioned at the facilities of its native university, the www.google.stanford.edu web server. The resource came to the taste of the first users and gained great popularity in the period 1996 to 1998, having practically exhausted the possibilities of the university server. Realizing that their startup is head and shoulders above the existing search engines, graduate students leave Stanford to go full-time in business. After unsuccessful attempts to sell the project, they find a generous investor in Andy Bechtolsheim, who sponsors the development for $100,000. In September 1998, Friends registered Google Incorporated. In his first corporate report, Page indicated that he and Sergey decided to start the company because they were confident they could provide humanity with a valuable service, provide relevant information on a required topic. The author of the search algorithm recalls that he always dreamed of working not only on important scientific and research projects, but also on something very useful and entertaining. With Google, his dreams came true. On September 27, 2018, the company celebrated its 20th anniversary, and the words Google and Google have firmly entered the lexicon of modern man. The first documented evidence of the use of the word Google as a verb comes from an email message from Larry himself, in which he urged his Stanford classmates to keep Googling. Many biographical facts of Larry Page and Sergey Brin coincide. Both businessmen have 2 children, Jewish roots, and the Marconi Fellow title from the prestigious Marconi Award in 2004. The co-founders of Google are 90 years old for 2, and the years are divided equally. Both entered 2019 at 45 years old. Billionaires will celebrate their 46th birthday in March and August. There are also significant differences. Page was born and raised in the United States, and Brin is an immigrant from the USSR. Page is happily married, but Brin managed to get a divorce. There are minor differences. For example, in the lengths of their own yachts. Page has a 59-meter yacht Senses, bought for $45 million. Brin has a 73-meter Dragonfly yacht for $80 million. But the provocative question of journalists, which of you is in charge, does not cause rivalry among Google developers. By joining forces, they have achieved what they would not have achieved alone, including control of Alphabet Incorporated, because together they have a decisive 50.1%. Career Larry Page 1998 to 2001, CEO of Google Incorporated. August 2001 to 2011, President of Google Products. After 3 years of running the company, Page receives a downgrade from investors. The reason was his unexpected and immature act. One hot July day in 2001, Larry decided to fire all the project managers, deciding that they were slowing down the common cause and not correctly conveying his instructions to programmers. And why would talented developers, and only such people, were recruited at Google? Additional managers? Page once said that the best way to solve a problem is to simplify it to a binary version and choose the correct answer from 2 alternatives. However, the rule, the simpler the better, did not work in this situation, and it cost Larry dearly. The managers were not fired, but transferred to another division, but Page had to say goodbye to the position of the company's general director. Eric Schmidt took the place of CEO. At first, Brin and Page opposed the leader from the outside, but after learning that Mr. Schmidt is not only a manager, but also a programmer in the past, and who also attended the Burning Man Festival, they put up with the candidature imposed by investors. A photo of Schmidt dressed at the festival in a homemade paper cowboy blouse was popular online. Photos of Larry Page and Sergey Brin from Burning Man cannot be found on the internet, and it is unlikely that anyone could see them in unusual costumes and make up among the same colorful crowd of thousands. Among the adherents of the informal event, in addition to the creators of Google, are Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. It is worth noting that the business tandem of the creators of Google would not have been so successful without Eric Schmidt. Through his strong leadership and focus, Google has developed the necessary enterprise infrastructure required to cope with the company's high growth rate. Eric, along with Larry and Sergey, was responsible for the day-to-day operations of Google. In the eyes of his subordinates, Page remained the head of the company. It was he who gave the final go-ahead for hiring new employees. It was he who signed the IPO, which in 2004 made him a billionaire. In 2005, Page decided that everyone should have a Google search engine and delegated to subordinates to purchase a startup developing similar technology. The company eventually acquired Android Incorporated for $50 million. This transaction, which was not considered important, was not even notified to the CEO, Mr. Schmidt. The CEO found out about the acquisition only when it was time to sign the documents. Larry Page devotes almost all his working time to the new Android project. When Apple entered the market with the iPhone in 2007, Larry had to significantly speed up development. According to his recollections, they performed only 1% of what was possible, but, given the available resources, the movement was too slow. Google derives many benefits from its good attitude towards employees. Larry Page is convinced that happy employees are productive employees. The company cares not only about employees, but also about their families. So, employees who are young parents can apply for time off or financial assistance, and during the first 3 months after the birth of a child, they are allowed to shop up to $5,000 worth of takeaway food from a cafe on the territory of the office. In 2007, Page decides to be direct again and fire everyone, this time his own assistants. His secretaries made too many appointments, in which he wasted valuable time. Now, in order to communicate with Larry, it was required to catch him personally. Communication with people does not give Page much pleasure. By nature, an introvert, he practically pulled back from giving interviews. 2008 is indicative. This year, the entrepreneur told the company's press service that he would allocate 8 hours of his time for them a year. In 2008, T-Mobile releases the first phone with Android G1, and already in 2010, smartphones with this software took over 17% of the sales market. Android soon becomes the world's most popular operating system for mobile devices. Buying an operating system for mobile devices was Page's life-changing decision to consolidate Google's success. The company dominates its market segment so much that it is of interest to the anti-monopoly authorities. In 2018, the European Commission even fined Google €4.3 billion, the largest ever fine against a single company, for abusing the dominance of Android devices. In 2017, the European Commission already fined Google €2.4 billion for abusing its dominant position in the search engine market. The competent and efficient management of the Android division leads to a review of the Page case. In 2011, he is returned to the chair of the CEO. According to Business Insider journalists, Larry Page's professional ups and downs are in many ways similar to the career development of another inventor and businessman, Steve Jobs. At a young age, having created his own successful business, Page, due to immaturity, was removed from the management of the business by investors. But in the end, like Jobs, Larry led his brainchild. Larry admits to arguing with Steve Jobs, who criticizes the Google guys for doing too many different things. Larry countered that he always dreamed of influencing life by producing more products. The Google co-founder emphasizes that the two IT giants followed different trajectories. Apple focuses on one product, bringing it to the ideal, and Google turns the world upside down. 2011 to 2015 CEO of Google. Having replaced Eric Schmidt as CEO, Larry is focusing on developing the company's social services. Irrevocably late with the launch of the social network in June 2011, the internet company launches its own social network Google+. The internet communication service was closed in 2019 due to low popularity. Until the end of 2012, the first Chromebook laptop, on sale since 2011, Google Glass augmented reality glasses, announced in the summer of 2012, fiber high-speed internet service, and other competitive products are released. In 2015, Google is reorganized into Alphabet. The purpose of the transformation was the release of the main functionality of Google, Search Engine, Gmail, YouTube, Maps, etc., from individual research projects of the company. In an open letter posted on the home page of Alphabet Incorporated, Larry Page explains that the parent company is a collection of companies, the largest of which is Google. Reorganization allows you to manage on a larger scale, dividing unrelated areas. Page becomes CEO of Alphabet's new parent company and speaks of its development as follows. I want to jump above my head when it comes to the capabilities of an innovative company with extensive resources. Larry leads some of Alphabet's subsidiaries, the Calico division, the Nest Smart Home Appliance division, and others. In 2016, the billionaire acquired two flying car companies at once, startups Z, Aero and Kitty Hawk. Page invested more than $100 million in Z, Aero to design an electric car with vertical takeoff and landing. And in 2018, the first flying electric car of the Opener Company, which is funded by Kitty Hawk, was presented. The guru of Silicon Valley is sure that the transport of the future is an air taxi. The electric car will go on sale in 2019. As in the nursery rhyme, in every little child, Larry Page has many ideas in his head that haunt him. Not half a kilo of explosives, but projects for flying cars, giant kites that harvest wind energy, the use of Wi-Fi-based balloons, extending human life, and other things. Page himself admits that he is better at developing new ideas than leading. The opportunity to engage in long-term projects is available thanks to the well-thought-out structuring of Alphabet. Not all shareholders have equal voting rights. By selling Class C securities, which do not have voting rights, and Class A shares, which have 1 vote, Page and Brin with Class B shares, 10 votes, collect money from investors, leaving control of the company to themselves. Thus, they have the freedom to determine the strategic direction of the company and invest profits in ambitious projects, some of which are called crazy by critics. People with innovative ideas at the beginning of their success heard more than once about their eccentricity. And Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, and Jack Ma were once called crazy. Larry Page is convinced that if you're not doing something crazy, you're doing the wrong thing. The chosen one of the IT genius is his longtime girlfriend, blue-eyed blonde Lucinda Southworth, who is the sister of model and actress Carrie Southworth. Lucy is not only beautiful, but also clever. After graduating from the University of Pennsylvania, she continued her education at Stanford, where she studied biometric computer science. The pioneer bride of the Quest achieved what her fiancé could not: earn a PhD. For the wedding ceremony, the couple rented Necker, one of the British Virgin Islands. Probably, Page liked to walk the wedding on the island after all. In the same 2007, only in May, Sergey Brin married and Wojcicki in the Bahamas. 34-year-old Page and 27-year-old Lucinda went down the aisle on December 8, 2007. Guests invited to the wedding from all over the world were delivered to the island by boats and helicopters. The couple has 2 children. That's all for me. What do you think of Larry Page? Write your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to my channel, where you will learn a lot of interesting things. Put a bell and be the first to know about new releases.